Yo, what's good? What's good, YouTube? What's good? What's good? Good morning to the world. Good morning to the world. It's your man, AC Star. I want to welcome you to the AC Star Morning Show. What's good, people? How y'all doing, man? It's your boy AC, man. What's good with you? I guess ain't nobody here yet, so we just going to let the room fill in a little bit. You know what I'm saying? See what's going on with the world. You know what I mean? But this your man, AC Star, man. I'm here on this March 26th, 2021. 11:40 a.m. in Eastern Standard Time. I'm just here to chop it up, man. Got a few interesting things I want to talk about. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna be on here long. You know what I mean? I don't even know that anybody got the damn notification. You know what I'm saying? But I'm here. You know what I mean? It's more like an upload anyway, but I just wanted to go live and kind of chop it up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? I hope everybody having a good morning, good day. What's good, Sweet Pea? How you, my love? Good morning to you, baby, or good evening to you, my love. Hope everything is good with you. Miss FedEx, good morning to you, sis. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Can everybody hear me clear? Can y'all hear me clear? Let me get a one if you can hear me. Let me get a one if you can hear me. If the mic ain't got no bugs, no kinks, no nothing, let me know what's going on. Triple OG, what's going on? Triple OG, salute, big bro. Good morning to you. Good morning to you. Nah, Sweet Pea, I ain't camming up today. I had the I'm getting the office painted. I got my workers coming through. We're gonna do some painting this weekend. So I had to take the stuff down. So I got it closed off a little bit today. So I ain't gonna be on long. I just want to talk about a few things. Oh, Bree, good morning to you, bro. Good morning to you, old Bree. Thanks for coming through, yo. Thanks for coming through, everybody. Well, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second. Let me check something real quick. Give me 1 second. Yeah, my bad. Yeah, what's good, y'all? So yeah, man, on today's show, man, your man AC. I just want to talk about what's going on in Georgia. You know, if you check the title, what a stream, man. You know what I'm saying? Georgia just passed this vote. And it's crazy, y'all. Like it's a real crazy thing, man. It's just, and for me, if you're paying attention to politics, all this is a reflection of, you know what I mean, the election, like the 2000, getting Trump up out of there. That's all this is. It's just literally that. It's literally, you know what I mean? It's literally, it's literally a backlash from the November 2020 election, where a state like Georgia, which has been traditionally red for years, right, it was turned blue, right, in the Senate, right, and now it allowed for the Democrats to run all three branches of our federal government at this present time. And that's the backlash that we're seeing. That's all this is. It's just literally a backlash to that election and the runoff election in January. See, in Georgia, their state house was not, overturned, right? So it stayed Republican. And then they have that Republican governor, Brian Kemp, who's known to be a staunch, Republican, and seeks to put in all type of legislation that seeks to do voter suppression. I mean, he did it his whole campaign against Stacey Abrams, and when she ran for governor, and he was the Secretary of State, and all the shenanigans he pulled with that election, right, with his own election, where he didn't see that there was a conflict of interest in the Secretary of State who's running for governor calling the, calling the shots in the election and saying what should be done and what shouldn't be done, right? So when you have that type of person as the governor of the state, and then you have a Republican-held state legislative body, you'll get legislation like this. I mean, this legislation is chock full of just Reconstruction, Jim Crow era suppression, voter suppression. I mean, it's a throwback from the 50s, the 60s, right? With its language, right? I mean, there is some provisions in this legislation that says it will be illegal for anyone to walk up to a polling place, and if the line is long at the polling place, it's illegal to offer food and water to the people standing in line. So that measure is put in place because they don't want the individuals that measure is put in place to deter people from standing in lines. So if there's a long line of people, and think about that, ladies and gentlemen, think about that. There's a clause in the legislation that says if you serve people water and food while standing in line, it's illegal. It's illegal. Let's read the story from the New York Times. Georgia Republicans on Thursday passed a sweeping law to restrict voting access in the state, introducing more rigid voter identification requirements for absentee balloting, limiting drop boxes, and expanding the legislative power over elections. The new measures makes Georgia the first major battleground to overhaul its election system since the turmoil of last year's presidential election contest. Just like I said, this is backlash from the 2020 presidential and federal national election as far as the Senate race in Georgia, which was very influential in flipping the Senate or making the Senate 50-50 as far as the Senate, and then giving Kamala Harris the overriding vote. But we know that there's a lot of legislation that needs to be majority proof anyway. So, but it was influential in getting this last stimulus bill passed. So it has its merit. It has its purpose. Right? The legislation, which followed Democratic victories that flipped the state and the presidential and Senate level, comes amid a national movement among Republican-controlled state legislatures to mount the most extensive contraction of voting access in generations, seeking to appease a conservative base that remains incensed about the results of the 2020 election. Republicans have already passed similar law in Iowa and are moving forward with efforts to restrict voters in states including Arizona, Florida, and Texas. Now, if you notice the states that they listed, Iowa is far off. I don't see Iowa ever like really becoming blue or being familiar with that, but they seen what happened in the Rust Belt that they belong to with Minnesota and Michigan and Pennsylvania, right? So Iowa's like, okay, let's strengthen this because they know their demographic is changing. So they're very proactive. So Iowa's proactive. Iowa's is trying to foresee 10, 15 years from now. That's what they're doing. That's what this is all about right now. Arizona, you know what that's about. Arizona went blue. Florida was almost blue, except the Cubans in Miami kept that from happening. And Texas went down to the wire. So as you see, the states that's implementing it is the states that was caught off guard by the minority turnout during this election. Democrats and voting rights groups have condemned such efforts, arguing that they unfairly target voters of color. Right, so we see now the backlash of the 2020 election. See, for me, January 6th was just the beginning, right? It's an all hands on deck type of thing, and they're just not doing it. You know what I'm saying? Peace, Valo. Peace, what's going on? At the end of the day, I say people happy about stimulus. They're tired of black people here. I've been on record saying this our people must learn the hard way. I guess, Valo. I guess. I mean, for me, the thing is, they are tired of us, but what they're finding out is that our voting power is very substantial. Like, we always hear the people that talk about either party doesn't matter, they're both sides of the wing. They're not both sides of the wing. I mean, you have some issues in racism and confusion and faction fighting within the Democratic Party, but the Republican Party is totally off limits, right? Like I mean, you're seeing this. They have a bill that says it will be illegal to hand out water and food to people standing in line to vote. Think about that. That speaks for itself. That says everything you need to know, that there is legislation that says if you offer people sustenance while they stand in line to do their civic duty and vote, like, you're trying to deter people from voting. You're trying, you limit the access to the ballot. So therefore you're going to create places where there's going to be a crowd. So it's going to be very crowded, right? So then with the long lines, people are going to get hungry. People are going to feel a certain kind of way. So they're not going to want to be, they're not going to stand in line and wait, right? Like, they're not going to wait. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're hoping. That's what they think this legislation will do. I don't even know what you're saying, Rollo. Like, what you're saying doesn't even make any sense. All you Biden lovers getting your medicine. Trump warned about the storm. My vote is winning. Tired of people begging, no other culture begging for their validation. I don't even understand what you're saying, bro. I don't know if you're just over here to say that. I didn't even get what you're saying. I don't beg for Trump or Biden. They're out for there. I don't even get what you're saying. What you're talking about there's no relevancy to what I'm saying. The point that I'm trying to point out is that Georgia just enacted a law that would limit the access to the ballot for a lot of people. They're trying to hinder the black vote in Georgia because the black vote was very influential in overturning their state and turning it blue. See, if you don't understand politics or you don't understand the nature of politics, you won't understand how significant it was for the state of Georgia to be turned blue. Like, you're talking about Biden lovers and Trump. This is all Trump's doing, right? This is his continual legacy that he's enacting. Like, he's continuing to have a pull in the party. And this legislation is just that, right? They're trying to seek to limit the ability for blacks to continue to make hay in Georgia when it comes to voting. This has nothing to do with appeasing to anyone. This is literally voter suppression in 2021, which should be, it should be serious to anybody. This is a serious matter. Why everybody's distracted about who Derek Jackson is fucking and all the salacious shit that's coming out with that. You have the state of Georgia doubling down, excuse me, and taking us into Jim Crow era politics in 2021. And you're talking about appeasing and black people asking for validation. We validated ourselves when we went out and voted in Georgia and turned a continuously and generational Republican staunch state blue. This is a backlash. Any media organization or any article that you read about this, I don't even understand when people are tired of blue state. They're like, I'm confused to what you're saying, Rollo, because people aren't tired of blue state. People don't want blue states because people don't want the ability for everyday people to have a say in our body politic. That's what this is against. Right? Nah, Rollo, because I'm not doing a panel today, bro. I'm not doing a panel today. Maybe we could chop this up maybe on Reg or another channel. I am sorry, bro. I'll catch you on another time. I'm not doing a panel today. I just kind of wanted to chop it up because I got some things I need to do. So I just kind of wanted to go over a few topics, you know what I'm saying? And then I was going to end it. But we could definitely chop it up, you know what I'm saying? We could definitely talk about it another day for sure. You know what I mean? I'll come to your platform, right? But this is not about that. This is, I mean, they even tried to have provisions in the legislation to say that the souls to the polls on Sunday, that they would limit the access to Sunday ballot or just get rid of Sunday voting altogether. Something that has been a tradition in the black community for decades. Souls to the poll is what they call it, right? See, they're trying to attack the infrastructure and to attack the forces and the measures that we use to get the vote out. See, now when people talk about the GOP and the conservatives, like, they don't talk about things like this. They don't talk about when they do things like this, right? This is a all-out assault. You know what I'm saying? Peace, Books for Moses. Thanks for coming through. Everybody, please, man, if you can hit the like and share so we can get the numbers up, get some people in here. Your man trying to make it. I'm trying to do it. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to try to stay on this political side. Yeah, souls to the polls, Books for Moses. Souls to the polls is a tradition where usually on Sunday a church will have some kind of voter registration get out thing, right, where they get the souls to the polls, right? And it's usually older people, older women who may not have access to vehicles and things of that nature. So the churches usually sponsor buses or sponsor just little get-togethers, you know what I'm saying? And then they'll caravan on over to the polls and they'll vote, right? You know what I'm saying? They'll be, they'll have an election booth, or they'll have a polling booth opened up in a particular church or community center like that. And then you'll have, people who may not have access to the ballot during election day, may not have a ride or something like that. They'll have access to vote on that day. It's very popular in the South. I think it's very popular throughout a lot of black communities. I'm sure it happens in the North, Midwest, and things of that nature. I'm sure it's just not privy to the South. But it's something that started in the South, basically when Jim Crow, things that we're facing now with this legislation. So it's just, it's just an effort to, push back. It's just an effort to pull back from our power of voting. And see, this is where I want people to really pay attention and do the knowledge to the fact that our vote counts. It matters. And when we vote and when we make a difference and we make a change, they seek to undo that change. These are the things that a lot of people leave out when they have the conversation about politics. They don't think about, efforts like this where whole, state body legislators are trying to just, in modern times, suppress the black vote. Like they're literally suppressing the black vote in 2021 and then talk about elections being rigged and shit like that. It's amazing. It's amazing that this can be done, and nobody calls it for what it is, and no one stands up and says this is racism, this is voter suppression, this is literally saying we don't want the black vote. It's just a continuous from January 6th, because January 6th was literally saying those black votes that got President Biden elected shouldn't count, and we're here to make sure they don't count. So that didn't work, but conjuring up this bill they will try, because there's definitely going to be some lawsuits against this bill, and to see whether or not it's constitutional. I mean, they've come every way they can with this bill. They've said, hey, listen, we're going to limit, voting booths. They're going to drop boxes, everything. They've tried everything. And then we get this argument, this apples and oranges comparison to the GOP and the Democratic Party. I don't see the Democratic Party going out trying to suppress the vote of conservative people. Well, no, it's not about souls to the poll. Is not about church and state. It's not about that, because the idea of it is to allow people their civic duty. Church and state is about whether the church governs the state, or whether the church has a say in who governs the state, right? But dealing with your civic duty and the church, that kind of goes hand in hand. So it's not the same as, it's not the same as the church and state. The church and state thing is to say that neither entity should dominate either entity. Yeah, that's what that's about. Look, I understand what you're saying, but that's two different things. One is a civic duty, civic duty, just a community action, I guess, just to make sure that people who wants to vote have the right to vote and will have the ability to get to do it, right? It's not about, we're not doing it to support a particular thing, right? But we're just trying to make sure people can get their civic duty done. So yeah, man, I mean, it's really strange, how these things arise, and it just becomes like a normal part of politics, right? We don't see the nefariousness of it, or the maliciousness of suppressing one group's vote, right? We just see it as part and parcel the body politic. And I think being numb to voter suppression is why it becomes so relevant, and it's a tool that they use every time they suffer an election loss. Yeah, this is their go-to tool. Every time they lose an election, this is what they go to. They go to this idea that if we suppress their vote, right, no one's going to care anyway. No one's going to challenge us, right, for the most part, right? No one's going to say, hey, listen, it is what it is with them, right? It is what it is. Because their whole intention is to make sure that we don't influence legislation further. It's not because they know when it comes to other groups, they split them up, right? Like they'll get 20% of the Hispanic vote. They'll get 10, 15, 20% of the Asian vote, right? But they know with us is 80% to almost 90% is going Democrat. So they know they don't really have a ability to use our vote to leverage their agenda. And now with that 2020 election and that January runoff, they see now that we really have power. Stacey Abrams, all those influential people in Georgia, all those black civil rights organizations and black voting organizations, they put in the work. And now this legislation sets out to undo their work. And if you have any, and understanding of the political process, this is where you should begin to understand why it's important to vote. Because people like this will seek to take it away from you because they know your power. They know your power. They know that your vote matters and that it's very influential and that it can change things and it can put them in the position of where they're not in power and they can't implement what they're trying to implement. I mean, they win it. They're so, listen, y'all, they're so delusional and they're so staunch against us voting that they made it illegal to hand out water and sustenance in polling lines. That's absurd. What does that have to do with anything? Because they want to do everything within their power to deter black people from voting. And that's why you can't listen to these people on YouTube who tell you not to vote. This is example 1A of why that shit they say is fucking bull crap. It's bull crap. If a state governing body would go as far as to put in a law that you can't give people bread and water in a line, that tells you how far they are willing to go to deter and take away our ability to make change through voting. That's absurd. You're asking old people in rural counties who've been here 80 years to go get a identification card because you don't want her vote to count. You don't want those rural Georgians' vote to count. You don't want all those black people in the suburbs around Atlanta and the suburbs around Albany and the suburbs around Savannah. You don't want in the suburbs around Columbus. You don't want their vote to count. You want to limit their vote. You want to make sure that they don't have the right to vote. Now, not only did they pass this legislation and the governor signed the legislation behind closed doors with no other legislators in present, right? Just a couple guys, and he had some state troopers that was covering the door. And guess what, folks? This black congresswoman, state congresswoman, right? She was arrested. Her name was Park Cannon. She was arrested for just attempting to go in to the signing and just, it was more her personal protest of the legislation because she knew what it was. She knew it was modern day Jim Crow-esque legislation. And the crazy part about it is they're going to get away with it. Because now we're distracted. We're following a shiny object. Most black people don't even know this legislation took place yesterday. We're paying attention to some dude and his wife and whether or not all this other crap. And that's why we're always behind the curve and behind the power curve when it comes to understanding what about legislation and why things are the way they are. Because we don't really do the knowledge to the shit that's going on, the legislation that's being passed to limit our ability to vote and make change. If black people didn't see during this election how important we were, right, then we'll never see it. And see, we're going to get stuck on this thing of wanting Biden to do something for us. But the most influential politicians you should worry about is your local politicians because they have the most influence on your life. See, federal, they pass grand bills, society bills, right? State and local governments pass legislation that impacts you in a micro way, in an intimate way. This voter suppression bill that Georgia signed will impact black voters tremendously. There will have to be a tremendous counter effort on voting organizations in Georgia to mount up against this legislation. They're going to have to do yeoman's work to get people in particular areas to ballot, to access to ballot boxes, access to identification cards, because you're going to need ID. So if you turn in an absentee ballot, you're going to have an identification picture with that absentee ballot. So if an old woman in rural Georgia is used to she's been mailing in her ballot for the last 40 years, and now she needs an identification card or some particular state identification card that she may not have, she can't vote. Or she's gonna have to find a way to get somebody to get her to a location to get her identification card. Yes, black people do put money in local politicians' hands. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. You have Cory Bush in St. Louis. You have Raphael Warnock in Georgia, right? You have Cory Booker. You have black mayors throughout this nation, black female judges. These people got most of their money from black donors. Most black leaders or most black politicians get most of their donors or money from black people. So yes, we do support black politicians. So many of them were successful this go around. See, we listen to the Tariq Nasheeds and all these people who say that black people don't support black politicians. Black people support black politicians. That's why black politicians are successful. Those are the ones who win and who compete. I don't understand what you mean why blacks are acting a fool more than ever. Rallo, I'm lost. Like, you're having a different conversation than what I'm having. You're having you don't like black people and you have a problem with black people conversation. And I'm having the Georgia Republican body just enacted very suppressive Jim Crow-esque voting laws. We're having two different conversations. You're over here trying to conflate the idea of blacks acting up with legislation in Georgia, which is not the same thing. So like I said, if you want to have a debate about the topic that you're, having an issue with, I'm more than happy to have that debate with you. But that debate is not, is not relevant to the conversation that I'm having right now. And that's no disrespect to you. That nigga said I never won a spelling bee. Right? So let me get back to it. So the young lady was she was arrested. Let's go to the footage. So she was arrested because she was just standing in front of the door. So she was arrested because she was standing in front of the door as Brian Kemp was signing the legislation. They actually arrested her. Think about that. I think yeoman's may be British. I think yeoman's may be a British word. I think it may be a British word. It is a European word. I think it may be a British word. Yeah, it's definitely Anglo-Saxon. Yeah. But she got arrested for just standing in front of the governor's door as he signed the bill. Like, instead of the governor saying, you know, oh man, it's all right, it's cool, they had her arrested. She didn't try to enter, none of that. Yeah, it's insane, Miss FedEx. Insane. Like it's many blacks are Republicans in Georgia, Rallo, but I don't necessarily I don't see how that's relevant to the conversation because they're not trying to suppress the Republican black vote. They're trying to suppress the Democratic black vote. See, what you're not understanding in the conversation is it was the Democrats in Georgia, right? It was the Democrats in Georgia who turned the state blue. Like if you understood, it's because it's a precedence, right? Like if they suppress the black vote in Georgia, they're gonna try to suppress the black vote in America, right? That's the canary in the coal mine, right? Like that's what that they're gonna try to implement that nationwide, right? So they're testing it in Georgia. That's why it's important. It's our war. If anyone is trying to suppress the vote of any black person, it's our war. I'm not going to limit my critique of this legislation based on me living in New Jersey and not being a citizen of Georgia, right? Because it's not about necessarily being a citizen of Georgia as much as it's about acknowledging that it's about black vote, the black vote being suppressed. That's why I'm involved. That's why I'm reporting on the story right now. Because for me, this is a overall narrative, a continuance. Right. And that exactly, Reg. 1000% correct, big bro. They're fighting to keep it red. And if Georgia turns red, the rest of the South is in trouble. 1000% agree with everything you just said, big bro. And welcome to the show. And thanks for coming through. Good morning. Good afternoon, Jessica. Thanks for coming through. Exactly, Reg. Because if Georgia fall, because Georgia is like not the capital of the South, but it's a very prominent place in the South. Virginia's gone, right? They've lost Virginia, right? Virginia's gone. North Carolina went down to the wire, right? South Carolina is not gonna turn blue, but it has powerful black Democrats within its state, right? Jamie Harrison just became the leader of the Democratic Party because of his showing in South Carolina. So you see the South is creating a generation of Democratic leaders that are scaring the bejesus out of the overall Republican Party. Exactly, Books of Moses. That's literally modern day Bull Connor, right? Where you're making a law to say I can't give people water. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Turn my music back on. And that's where we at with it. Cali, New York, and New Jersey looks like a mess because of the pandemic, right? And because of the leadership within the cities and states. Cuomo, the guy in California, Gavin Newsom, Governor Murphy, which is doing a better job than Newsom and Cuomo, right? They're more into being popular than into leading the state thoroughly, right? Like their power corrupted them, you know, thoroughly, right? That's what that's about. That has nothing to necessarily do about the legislation. That necessarily doesn't have anything to do with the people's right to vote in those states. right? You keep saying they look a mess. They look a mess because economically they're supported by people being out, right? People being out. See, Valo, I think you just don't have enough political understanding, and you're trying to conflate your idea of being a conservative and not understanding that it is immoral to try to suppress another group's vote to stop them from becoming powerful, right? That's what this conversation is about, and you're trying to conflate it into other things, and that's not where we at with it. And like I said to you earlier, you can have that critique of individual states or individual essence of the Democratic Party. But at the end of the day, what we're critiquing and commenting on is the Georgia Republican Party and the Georgia legislative body enacting laws that seek to deter Black people from voting and to suppress their ability to vote. That's what this is about. I'm not using any tactic. I'm not a tactical person when it comes to discussing politics. I think you're conflating two ideas of something because you may not like the critique of the GOP because you find yourself aligning yourself with their ideas. But this is voter suppression. So if you don't understand what voter suppression is, this is voter suppression. And that's what the conversation is about. And I think if we had a better understanding of the process and how each party really works and operates, and we don't keep having this generalized idea that both parties are the same different wings of a bird. This showed you that it's not the same bird. It's not different wings of a bird anymore. This is literally the bird trying to cut off the other wing to see if they can go get a bionic because they don't like what the other bird, the wing has on it. It doesn't want to fly with the other wing anymore. It wants to take some of the other wing's power away. You don't see the other wing trying to do that. You don't see the left wing trying to destroy the right wing. You just see them trying to do what's best for them. I know a lot about political war, Rollo. You don't know about political war. You have no idea. Like, Rollo, your political chops is very limited because your political chops is just towards pointing at a particular thing and saying, well, why is this messed up? Like, you're not articulating exactly why or trying to correlate the conversation that we're having. You're just trying to have an outside argument and critique of something without putting forth any information. Like, you're saying why join this war? Because it's very important to discuss when somebody's trying to suppress the Black vote. You should be up in arms about this. If you're a so-called conservative, right, people should have the access to the ballot. Yeah, I mean, whatever, Rollo. Like, see, you guys can't have conversations, man. You guys always gotta go to your usual YouTube ad hominem attack talking about I'm emotional. I'm not emotional, but I don't think my response to you is emotional. I think my response to you is logic. I think it's very logical because I'm presenting the information that's showing, you know what I'm saying? Your vote is winning then. So then if your vote is winning, then you should have no issue with what I'm talking about then right now. Like, you guys gotta educate yourselves more on the topics instead of just saying anything is gonna fly. Like, just to be disagreeable, to be disagreeable, to be contrarian, and not present a coherent argument. You have to present a coherent pushback. You just can't say I'm emotional or this and that and try to deflect from the truth that I am spitting. You know, I dig you, Rollo. You know, you my bro, right? But you know, when it comes to this political thing, you know, I'm not trying to do anybody a disservice. I'm trying to give people exactly what's going on and be honest in my critique. See, because I could critique the progressives, I could critique the moderates, I could critique any political faction if they're showing, like, I don't like how Biden and his administration is handling the border situation. I think that they're showing, naivete, right? I think they missed the call when they didn't realize, like, hey, if we let the laws down, people are gonna come swarming. So I'm not up here to bash the GOP because I don't have a reason to. Like this law is law. This is law right now. See, I think a lot of you guys just like to push back. Y'all just like to talk to feel special. That's what I'm starting to think. But yo, another story, man. Another disturbing black child within the educational system. Man, in New York, in Long Island, this headmaster. Oh man, this is I we getting these stories every week. Excuse me, we getting these stories every week. It's getting ridiculous. It's getting to the point where I'm like tired of them now. I'm just really tired of them. But in New York, in Long Island, in Uniondale, Long Island, the home of Nassau Coliseum, Nassau County, New York. When me and Rollo ain't from Nassau County, but we know where Nassau County at. That ain't too far from us, right off the BQE. You could take either the BQE or you could take Throgs Neck. You know what I mean? You could take a couple different ways. You can come from the Bronx, you can come from Brooklyn, you could take QBE. You could take a lot of things to get there. I mean, I hear you, Rollo. I mean, you guys have a lot of conspiratorial observations and predictions, right? That don't never really pan out or come to fruition because it's just kind of based on y'all loose understanding of politics and a loose correlation to your theories and your understanding of power brokers. I'm with you on that. I'm totally with you, right? But I don't think I think Red's comment right here sums it up very well. They fighting to keep Georgia red. Nobody going back to Jim Crow. If Georgia's still blue, the rest of the South is in jeopardy. At the end of the day, that is whatever the fuck they say, game, set, match. Right there. Game, set, match. And that's why they're fighting so hard to implement this archaic legislation to bring us back to the Stone Age just to keep the South from turning blue. Because if the South turned blue, then the GOP would be in deep, deep shit. And they probably would never win another election again because the South is where they get their votes. See, those places out west where they get their votes, Idaho, Nebraska, all that shit, there is no electoral votes out there. They don't get shit. All the shit is in the Midwest and in the South. All the big ones, Florida, Texas, Georgia, North Carolina, Virginia, right? Tennessee, right? South Carolina, right? So, Red's statement is correct. But back to the story I was just talking about. So, a white headmaster in New York private school, right, has resigned excuse me, after he was accused of telling an 11-year-old black student to kneel while apologizing and later describing the practice as the African way. Following reports of the incident, last week, St. Martin de Porres Marian School in Uniondale on New York's Long Island sent letters to parents saying Headmaster John Holian was on leave while the school investigated the incident. But a statement Wednesday, school officials said Holian had resigned. The school had accepted his resignation of our former headmaster. It is important to assure our students, parents, faculty that this incident does not reflect our long-established value of respect for the individual and established protocols regarding student-related issues. Last month, so Trisha Paul told NBC News on Monday that her son, Trayson, 11, and her other child began attending St. Martin School earlier this year. Last month, when Trayson, an honor student, finished an assignment early and moved on to another one, he was scolded for not following directions, his mother said. He ended up with his teacher in the office of the headmaster, John Holian, who instructed Trayson to kneel while he apologized to his teacher for his error, Paul said. She twice approached Julian about the practice. He told her that he had learned the disciplinary method from a Nigerian father at the school who told him it was the African way of apologizing, Paul said. He once mentioned a story. He realized that maybe he was generalizing because my son is black, and maybe that's what he thought the discipline should have been for the behavior because my child was black. Her son is a Haitian American, just like my kids. Just like my 3 beautiful black children. Haitian Americans. Think about that, y'all. This dirtbag, grown up, made this 11-year-old child kneel down to a teacher because now let's listen. Let's really pay attention to what happened. He was punished because he was too smart. He got in trouble because he finished his assignment early and moved on to the next assignment. So because he was proactive in his studies, how dare you move on without me telling you to move on? So now you got to come and bow before me so you can learn the order of things. You bow before me so you know you follow my instructions, but it's got to start here with you bowing before me. I would have beat everybody the fuck up that day. If my son or daughter came home and told me somebody made them bow, it's on and popping. He got in trouble, y'all, because he moved on to his next assignment. He got in trouble because he didn't pay or he didn't follow instructions. He didn't wait for all his white peers to catch up to him. What up, Aries? So because he moved faster than his white peers, he was punished and took to the headmaster's office, where the headmaster's was to bow down because he seen a black child. So he thought that the black child should practice the Nigerian way of apologizing because the Nigerians are a bunch of fucking coons. And I don't give a fuck if you hear me. See, you motherfuckers started this goofball shit coming over here telling these white people that y'all fuck traditions of bowing down to them and all this goofball shit should be fucking diaspora, right? The whole diaspora should bow down to fucking headmasters and goofball shit like that. Again, folks, we got drinking piss. We got wiping shit out of toilets. Now we got bowing down. They the worst students in my class. Every week since I've had my channel, we've had one of these fucking incidents. And then let's put Georgia on top of that. Then let's put the fucking elected official from Georgia get arrested and charged with felonies. They charged her with felonies for knocking on that door. And then we think January 6th has stopped. It's just began. It's just began, ladies and gentlemen. Bow down to me. But are we talking about this baby being forced to do that? Are we talking about Georgia's voter suppression laws? No, we're talking about some fucking scammer who scammed the world with his broad. We're fucking talking about him every fucking day. While white people just running willy-nilly. Let me tell y'all what happened to me yesterday at physical fucking therapy. And that's why I'm not on camera, because I'm so fucking mad. I didn't even want to do my fucking live today. I'm at physical therapy. I'm listening to a YouTuber. I got it down low. So when you go to arm therapy, you sit at a table. So it's a lady maybe 10 feet away from me. And as soon as I sat down, I could just see her. She's fidgety and looking and just creepy, weirdo. She just wanted to say something. My whole presence just made her feel uncomfortable because the therapy's place is way out in Hopewell, right? Way out in their place where they put it out there so black people wouldn't have access to it, right? If you're willing, if you're willing to go out there, then you brave. Because see, most of the black people go to their office in Mercerville. So I sit down and I start my session and I'm doing my little things. So I'm listening to the YouTuber and they funny. It's a lot going on. It ain't even on mid level, right? But now, mind you, the therapy office got their little rock music blaring out, their little speakers, whatever, right? And now when I go to therapy, this is my routine every time. I put on a YouTuber, whether it's Reg the Bad Guy, whether it's Platinum, whether it's something old, whether it's re-listening to my show, and I just sit there and I listen to it, and I might hit in the chat a little bit, but I'm doing my little routine, my little exercise to get my arm together. So let me tell you about this lady yesterday. So all she keeps saying that she's going through, it's hard for me to pay attention. So she's trying to learn her exercises to help her hand or whatever. She's trying to figure it out. So she's talking to a therapist. So listen, the lady looks at me and was like, "Don't you got some earbuds or something you could put on? Like to tell me I don't want to hear what you listening to. It's distracting me." She literally said that out of her mouth. I got fucking Karen that physical therapy. I got Karen. And this is, and the therapist was like, "Yeah, can you turn it down a wee bit?" Wait a minute. Y'all know I do this every time I come in here. This is my routine. I mean, it's ridiculous. They want to cancel us in every space. They want to dehumanize us every chance they get. And they found the black people that would distract us long enough so they can keep doing it. So I said to the therapist, I said, "You know what, man? I'm out of here, man. I'm not about to do this. I don't do racism." And that was some racist shit. This ain't about what I'm listening to on my phone. She started going into, "I pay my $40 and I want to be able to focus while I'm doing my therapy." How what I'm listening to is fucking up your focus? Like, why are you even worried about what the fuck I'm doing anyway? Why the fuck are you talking to me? Why are you talking to me, lady? I'm over here for my physical therapy. Why are you talking to me? Why are you even worried about what's on my phone if you're trying to heal your hand? Because I was just supposed to sit there or not even be there. She wanted to quiet me, silence me, and make sure that I sat there and I didn't interrupt her session. My blackness did not interfere with her session. What's good, Joe Dub? What's good, Jason Mabry? What's good, Lionel? Oh, my bad, bro. And she carrying me. And the two therapists, they went right with it. And the therapist was like, "Oh, that wasn't racism. Oh, she just wanted you to turn it down a little bit." Man, that was pure T fucking racism. She didn't give a fuck what the fuck I was listening to. She didn't want me there. She felt uncomfortable when I walked up the steps. I seen the whole vibe when I walked in the building. And the whole time I was sitting next to her, you know those weirdo white people that just always, and you just catch them glancing at you, staring at you and shit, right? You know that shit. And see, what white people don't understand is we've been living this shit all our life. We know it. We know racism like breathing. It is not hyperbole. We are not paranoid. She'd have not said that to any person of any other race if they would have been sitting next to her listening to rock music or whatever the fuck they was listening to. I do that shit every time I go to therapy. I sit there with my phone, listen to a YouTuber, listen to some particular show, and do my therapy and get my ass out of there. I had never seen this lady before in my life. This was the first time me and her was in the same room at a session. And this time I sat down, I felt her whole entire vibe. And when I explained to my therapist, like, yo, that was some racist shit, he was like talking crazy. And then I had to let him know. And then I was like, that was fucking racist. You know what this piece of shit said? Maybe it was. Maybe it was. And see, they want us to ignore racism. I heard somebody telling a white guy this morning on Mo's channel that, yo, listen, I'm not ignoring that shit. What we need y'all to know is we're not taking that shit. That sticks and stones bullshit y'all be talking about, that shit don't fucking correlate with us. They called the cops on me, y'all. I'm tired. They attempt to assault us from every direction. If we're going to physical therapy, if we're selling water, if we're going to prestigious prep schools, if we move into prestigious communities, if we become elected officials, if we exercise our right to vote, if we exercise our right to be entrepreneurs, if we exercise the right to be athletes and speak about our people, everywhere we turn to be authentically black, they attack us. January 6th, 2021 was about our vote. It wasn't about anything else. Don't let nobody fool you. Those white people showed up to make sure that those black votes that got Joe Biden elected was summarily thrown out. Nah, he resigned, Triple OG. It will, Lionel. It will, Lionel. It will, bro. It will. And it has. I mean, that Haitian sister, and you know, that's where my white family from. That's where my wife from. My wife from Long Island, her whole family, and they work hard, you know, and they want the best for their kids. And I just said to my wife yesterday, like, baby, if you want to move to Long Island, we can. Like, if you want to move to Long Island so that the kids can have a better life, and because I know I watched her relatives, kids be successful, do things. I've went to graduation parties, I went to their homes, and they live a pretty decent life. And they just came to this country because they want better for their kids. But you know, they come with that Eurocentric ideology so that they think these people are on their team, and then their kids are the ones who have to find out the truth about America. Well, it's not necessarily feeding aggression. Like, I don't buy into that. See, for me, if you put them in your place, you got to put them in a place. Like, we can't negotiate stopping racism. We can no longer find the happy medium, right? We can't worry about our ability to articulate that we're not tolerating that shit. We can't let them decide what that level of aggression or what that should be, right? We can't even worry about whether or not they stereotype us or not, because that's the problem. Always plugging in to what they think is the design of us. Because my thing is, when people say that, what I do is I articulate to them, regardless of what your stereotype may be of me, I'm going to shatter that right now. Whether you look at my aggression as something you want to use to label me and say I'm wild and whatever, I'm going to articulate my position so clearly that I'm going to shatter that. And it may frustrate the fuck out of you, and it may even make you madder because now you can't label me that. Right? So I don't I don't live by that narrative. So, yo, man, that's all I wanted to talk about today, folks. I ain't want to go long. I just wanted to come kick it about the Georgia thing and talk about the young man, you know what I'm saying? And just how all these incidents are just going to ranch it up. They're just going to become numerous, consistent, because contrary to popular belief, people, they know our power. They know our influence. They see it. They seen it with this election. They see it with our culture. And they want to cut it off. And they've always wanted to do that. And now we're intermingling their spaces, and we're progressing, and we're able to put our kids in these schools and things of that nature, right? And we go into these communities because we got money, right? And they want to limit our ability to influence the world. They want to control us, y'all. They want to tell us what I can listen to at physical therapy and not even take into account this is a grown-ass man. I don't know this man. I've never met this man in my life, and I should feel very dumb that I feel so comfortable with talking over to this man and not even saying, well, sir, can you turn that down a little bit? Or, sir, it's kind of distracting, because if she would have said that shit like, sir, can you like it was one like white lady that I used to sit next to, and she just told jokes the whole time we sat there. They was corny jokes, but she was trying. At least she attempted to fuck with me. This one just wanted to neutralize me and just thought it was okay to be like, you ain't got no earbuds or something. Like, just literally said it like that. You ain't got no earbuds that you can put on or something. Like, I'm distracted. I can't. Like, how you distracted by what I'm listening to? You're distracted by my blackness. They don't want us around them, y'all. They really think that we just gonna go and just only come out in spaces where they allow us to. They really want to tell us how to live our life, where we can sell water, where we can live at, right? They really want to limit what we do. And so when you hear these people talk about, white people are cool and all this, that, and the third and all that, like, okay, yeah, there are probably some good white ones out there for sure. But let's look at what's happening. Let's look at what's taking place in our society when it comes to black people exercising their right to vote, exercising their right to just live and exist and educate themselves and become lawyers and doctors. We got to catch shit from all angles because we're black, literally. We go to channels like Mo and all this and that, and when you get over there, they tell us you shouldn't be black, and you should, when people are racist towards you, you should ignore it, and then they want to be black, and they hang in black spaces, but then tell us not to be black, or be like, oh, I was supposed to go to the march and all this shit. Like, we don't have any allies. Those white people that come and kick it with us, they're not for us. They're slumming. Don't trust them at all. At all. Enough is enough. Black people, stop following the shiny object. Stop listening to black people that's not going to inform you properly, and that's going to turn you around and get you all tied up into conspiracy theories and be fake fucking GOP motherfuckers because they don't know about blackness, right? And a lot of them people don't be African Americans that be telling you about black people cutting up. The people that heavily critique black people, if you check their background, they got some other shit in them besides African American. That's real talk. Or they're a misfit, or they don't speak properly. They talk like Jesse Lee Peterson and all that shit, right? And it's because black people tease them. So they think going to talk about GOP and black people being ain't shit will somehow help them heal from being teased. I mean, it's fucking sick. It's crazy. Every conversation I have just about I can correlate these things and put them together and show how the shit just all is one thing. But yo, man, damn, man, what the fuck we gonna do, man? People, vote, people. Vote. Vote in your local elections. Vote in your state elections. Vote, 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 vote. Don't let motherfuckers tell you that voting is obsolete and it don't matter and all that. They're paid to do that. The motherfuckers that tell you not to vote is paid to tell you not to vote. Just like as motherfuckers that tell you to vote are paid to tell you to vote, the motherfuckers that tell you not to vote are paid to tell you not to vote. And on another note, I think the world is coming to an end because guess what, y'all? It's 80 degrees outside. It's going to be 80 degrees in New Jersey today. 80 fucking degrees. 80 degrees. The world is fucking crazy. 80 fucking degrees. So, yo, man, this your man, AC Star, man. I'd like to thank everybody for coming through. Jessica Walker, Triple OG, SPD, Jason Mayberry, Lionel O with all the wisdom. Even my man Rollo with the pushback. You know what I'm saying? My man Books for Moses for coming through. Real talk. You know what I mean? I'd like to thank everybody for showing up. Miss FedEx, good looking out, sis, for always coming through and supporting your boy. I appreciate the love, sis, no doubt. I definitely appreciate the love. You know what I'm saying? Old Breed, I'd like to thank you for coming through, bro, and checking me out today. You know what I'm saying? It was very appreciative. It was very appreciated. I'm sorry, very appreciated for you coming through. You know what I'm saying? Everybody. Yeah, man, it's gonna be 80 degrees to here today, Triple OG. I'm about to go out here and sit outside. I ain't gonna do much. I hung out yesterday, so I ain't gonna hang out today. I hung out with my boys yesterday. I went in the hood, hung out with my guys. You know what I'm saying? It felt good to hang out with my guys. Seeing my boy I ain't seen in a while, and he doing good. You know what I mean? It was the hood love, man. It was around my crew. I needed their love yesterday. Just needed to get away from all this YouTube shit and be around real people because we don't talk about who fucking who and all that Derek Jackson shit, all that shit. Like, I just didn't even know what to go live about. I'm glad that Georgia shit happened because it's like I don't want to talk about that nigga. I don't care. I listen, yo. I can honestly say I've never, ever, 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 ever watched any of that dude's content ever. I've never seen on one show ever. So I have no idea what he's about. But, you know, what you do in the dark will come to the light if you ain't genuine. If you fleecing the flock and you on some bullshit, it's going to come to the light. That's why I don't do that shit no more. That's why I don't do sucker shit. That's why I don't do fleecing the flock shit. That's why I try to live on the square. Because I already know I've lived long enough to know that karmatic energy is real. And if you on some bullshit and you're not a genuine person, you will be revealed. The universe don't play that. It will reveal you. And it seemed like the last couple years have been the universe revealing a lot of disingenuous, fraudulent people who are fucking over black people, who are distracting black people from the onslaught of racism and oppression and fucking just straight out trying to fucking get us up out of here on some genocide shit. But Joe Dub, it's March, bro. It's March 26th, big bro. Yeah, and thank you for coming through too, big bro. But it's March 26th, Joe Dub. Like, you know, it start transitioning now, but bro, it's literally gonna be 87 degrees today. On a Friday, Joe Dub, on a Friday in March on the Northeast, the stimmy just hit, right? The stimmy just hit. It's Friday, just got paid, and it's gonna be 80 degrees in the Northeast, Joe Dub. So you know what it's about to be up here. It's gonna be crazy. The news gonna be very sad in the tri-state today. Because when the weather's warm, the niggas swarm and the guns are blazing. I don't know what that's about, right? I don't know if niggas got bad trigger fingers when it's cold, or you could just aim better when it's warm. I don't know. I don't know what that is. Or your target might be outside because it's hot outside. I don't know. It's probably all of the above, right? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. That was pretty funny. So yo, man, let's stop being distracted, man. It's all right to be entertained by the ideas, man, but I think we're going down a rabbit hole like the Native Americans, man. I think they're gonna use social media to distract black people. This is our new opiate. Social media is black people's new opiate, right? And yesterday I took a break from it and it felt kind of good. But I like doing this because I like kicking it with y'all. I like showing up with y'all, right? Because y'all help me access a part of me that I don't normally get to access based on my environment, based on, you know, who I'm around and what I'm around and what I do for a living. But I don't want to get caught away in trying to be something that I'm not. I'm politically savvy. I like to talk this political shit. I like to talk about the fucking culture, right? But I can't. I've been not able to go on panels this week because I can't relate to the shit they're talking about. I can't relate to it. And sometimes being on the panels kind of give me that spark, you know what I mean, that charge, right, to do my show. Because I was on RBR panel the other day, and then when I did my show, my show was good because I worked that on his channel first. And sometimes being on other people's channels helps me work out and, you know, keep the wheels greased. Because this is hard work, and you have to be consistent at it in order for it to pop for you, or to be something that's beneficial to the people. So, yo, if y'all can, man, hit your boy Cash App. If not, don't worry about it. Just keep showing up every day, man. And I'm going to keep getting better for y'all and keep trying to bring y'all that good content, man. That's politically savvy, culturally correlated. You know what I mean? Politically savvy, culturally correlated. You know what I'm saying? And articulately laid out. You know what I'm saying? That's what I hope to do. So, yo, man, thank everybody for coming through again, man. I love y'all, man. I hope y'all have an amazing weekend. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get out there, get some fresh air, spend some time with your loved ones, spend some time with yourself. But just your man, AC Star, yo. And this is my live. And I want to say peace to everybody. But remember, y'all boy needs y'all to do those 3 things. Love yourself, love those around you, and stay safe. It's your man, AC. I'm out.